Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to conservation and careful management of the state's forests to make them more resilient and better habitats for wildlife. ChooseWood.com.
This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. If you were anywhere near a radio in the U.S. during the summer of 1981 or watched American Bandstand that year, there's a good chance you heard this song at least a few times.
Bip, bop, bam, alakazam, but only if you're grooving with the double dutch man. Put on your skates, don't forget your rope, 'cause I know I'm gonna see you at my double dutch show. Rebecca, Lolita, Vashon, and Dawn. Every time you do the double dutch, you really turn it on. Bill Zarbor, Bill Zary, Bill Zeddy, Bill Zam, Till Zombie, Bill Zarens, Bill Zombie, that's my man. Come on, get on my double dutch bus. The double dutch bus.
That Frankie Smith jam, Double Dutch Bus, didn't include the name Kiana or Kilzana to be true to his form. But our next guest is most definitely on the Double Dutch Bus today, and it's a bus with a specific number on its windshield display. Here to talk with us about how she came upon that bus and where it's taken her, we have Key Chapman, or Key Chap. Key is a St. Louis native and captain of the St. Louis Sub Club of the Plus 40 Double Dutch Club. Key, welcome to St. Louis on the Air.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So let's go back to the very beginning, your first jumps. Key, do you remember the very first time you double dutched? Where did it happen?
I believe the first time that I double dutched, I was 8 years old. It was in my neighborhood and at school during recess.
And is this something that you all did together, like you waited for recess to come so that you could double dutch together?
Absolutely. It was definitely a childhood game that the children of today have definitely got away from.
Mm-hmm. And what was it that made you stop?
I guess just getting older. When you become a teenager, I guess it's not as fun. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to chalk it up to getting older.
Yeah. And was there anything close to double dutch that replaced that activity?
Not at all.
Yeah. Now, you did return to the ropes a handful of years back. Talk with us, Key, about how that happened. And was it something that you were seeking out, for example?
Well, truthfully, I tried with my group of friends maybe about 8 to 10 years ago, trying to relive those memories, getting outside, jumping double dutch. And it was not very successful. I think we maybe met once or twice. But after that, it was just nothing.
Mm-hmm. And what was it that had motivated you to pick it back up? Was it mostly nostalgia or something more or different?
Well, I know that I enjoyed it as a child, and I thought that it would be a great way to exercise without, thinking, oh, I'm exercising. When it's fun, you don't think about it so much.
Right.
You just kind of in the moment.
Uh-huh. And where is it that you all were meeting? Was this taking place indoors or out?
Well, at the time I joined, it was in August, later August, and they were meeting at Forest Park.
Mm-hmm. What were those first few times like, Key?
It was exciting. It was exciting to see just a group of women getting together for an hour and a half with no worries, no children, no pets, no men, and just reliving some of our childhood memories. It was great, and I knew that it was something that I wanted to continue to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. We're talking with Key Chapman, or Key Chap. She is the captain of the St. Louis area sub club of a group that is called the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club. Key, those first few times again, was there anything about it that sort of took you by surprise?
I think the thing that took me by surprise, but not really so much, is just to see the women still being able to get in the rope. I mean, it was just amazing to me.
What is the age range of those who are participating?
Our oldest member is 88 years old, so it's
Wow.
40 to 88, and she is an active member. She's not in St. Louis,
Okay.
but she is a part of the 40 Plus Double Dutch Club, and I can't remember which sub club she's a part of, but yes, she's 88.
Wow. And these sub clubs, I mean, they're spread all over the United States. And from what I understand, it got started in Chicago.
Yes, that is correct.
So have you had the opportunity to go to other sub clubs to jump with them?
I actually have. I did have an opportunity to go last year when I was in Las Vegas. So I did visit the Las Vegas Sub Club last year.
And was there anything about the way they did things that felt sort of specific to where they were? Maybe that was different from what you have experienced here in St. Louis?
Not a lot. There were a couple things that I brought back with me. Like there was this slide dance that they do that we didn't do here in St. Louis.
Okay.
But we all try to operate the same. Each sub club should be doing the same things.
So to join a sub club, obviously the plus 40 is there for good reason. Are there other requirements for participating?
Well, you have to be a woman. You have to be a woman at least 40. And in order to become an official member, you must purchase a T-shirt with your name and age on the back in lieu of membership dues
Oh,
every
I
year.
see. Okay. And this being a group that is specific to women, you had talked about those first few meetups that you went to in Forest Park. You said that there were no children, there were no pets, and there were no men. What
That is- yes.
about that? Yeah. What about that appealed to you?
That appealed to me because with being a mom, being a wife, being in corporate America, having my own small business, just to be able to get together with women that look like me and just having a good time, just to have a little break for myself. That was appealing, even if it's just for an hour and a half.
Right, right. So then there are certainly benefits that go beyond the physical ones that you were talking about for physical health. What are some of the other maybe social benefits that you have gleaned from participating and now leading the sub club in St. Louis?
Well, it's definitely a sisterhood. I like to kind of describe it as a sorority of sorts, because we actually do different things than just jump rope. We do get out in the community. For an example, next week, my sub club and the Belleville sub club have teamed up to be a part of a community baby shower.
Oh,
And it is for young women that are ages 16 to 24 that have children that, need help. Some of them are in foster care. Just yesterday, I actually spoke with the owner of the nonprofit organization. She was with a 13-year-old actually that had just gone into labor. And so a lot of these girls don't have, anybody, there for them. So we do things beyond the ropes.
and do you think that's just a natural outgrowth of you all coming together?
I think so.
Is it something that you were expecting, or did it just sort of happen along the way?
Well, when I originally joined, I was not aware that this was something that we do. So when I found out that, we do have things outside of jumping double dutch just to come together in the community, it really made me, say this is a great sub club. I'm glad to be a part of this.
Now, going back to who is participating, you've described it as having a sorority kind of feel and sensibility. And you shared a photo from one of your sub-club meetings. Does that photo capture who it is that comes to Double Dutch with your group on a regular basis?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're going to get smiles. You're going to get laughs. You're going to have dancing. We just have a great time when we come together once a week.
And is it mostly Black women who are gathering?
Yes, it is mostly Black women, but we are open to everyone.
That's certainly a theme that we've heard from others we've talked with. STL Run Crew is one of them. And it's really nice to hear that this is happening. The other part that is very cool from where I sit is that you mentioned the Belleville, Illinois subclub that you're doing work together. You had a meet up with them relatively recently, I think in the last couple of months. What is it like to jump rope with them? Are there ditties or techniques that you share or maybe even compete with?
No, we don't necessarily compete. Like I said, everything is done in fun. Our motto is, fitness, fun, fellowship, and friendship. So when we come together, whether we're from different subclubs or not, we're all coming together as one sisterhood.
Now, Double Dutch is something that we can do outside right now. The weather has been unseasonably warm, but when it gets too cold or maybe too dark, you will meet somewhere other than a park. Where is it that you all will be jumping rope over the next several months?
Over the next several months, we will be meeting at Twillman Elementary School in North County, and we meet on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. However, when the school is closed, like upcoming for the winter break and spring break, whenever we can't get into the school, then unfortunately we won't be able to meet up on those days.
And in the past, you said that you have met at the St. Louis Zoo. Is that right?
We actually met at the Wildlife Center in North County.
Oh, sure.
Last year, they have an auditorium that they offered up to us to use for the fall and winter. But we were not able to use that this year because they're actually starting to get their animals in.
So when it comes to finding a space to do this, you talked about the T-shirt purchase as being sort of the stand-in for dues. Is finding space sort of part of the work that you do as the captain of the subclub?
Yes.
And how do you go about doing that typically?
It's just really doing a lot of calling around, seeing who will allow us to use their facilities for free. That's the biggest obstacle.
Okay.
Because usually everyone wants to charge, but since we are a non-profit organization, we can't pay. So
just putting that out there in case there's someone with a space who's willing to share it with you. Now, some people might call this resurgence of interest in Double Dutch a fad. Key, is there something that you've seen or experienced that affirms that it is an activity or pastime that is really here to stay?
I definitely think that it's something here to stay at this point in time. I'm seeing a lot more of Double Dutch just being on social media. I'm just seeing a lot more of it. So I think it's definitely here to stay.
What has been for you, Key, the best part of picking up the ropes to double Dutch again at 45 years old?
The best part for me is still being able to get in the rope. My knees are still doing okay. And as long as I'm physically able to do it, I'm going to be in the rope.
Perhaps 88?
Yes.
Yes.
That is definitely my goal.
And just as a final question here, do you have any practical advice for someone who wants to pick up double Dutch or even, just jump rope using a single rope after a long time away from jumping?
The advice that I would give is just do it. Don't let any obstacle that you may think will stop you from getting in the rope. Just pick up that rope and just do it. And you will be surprised how easily it will be.
I'll have to take that advice of myself. Key Chapman is captain of the St. Louis subclub of the Plus 40 Double Dutch Club. Key, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Oh, you're very welcome. Again, thank you for having me.
This episode was produced by Elaine Shaw.
Our audio engineer is Aaron Dorn. This podcast was mixed and edited by Aaron.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
St. Louis on the Air proudly supports local artists by using music from Life Creative Group.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations. And leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thanks.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.